Yeah, so here we are, it's Friday again. Don't have the front seats in yet, but I have most of the car interior put back together. My homemade gear shift knob there seems to work. Yep, there you go. That works all right. And the glove box is in. Now I'm working on that putty stuff on the cracks in the dash. That has to dry overnight. I put another application of that on. It's kind of hard to get the right color. That color doesn't look quite right, but it might be all right by the time I get it all rubbed off, and if I have to put some shoe polish on it or something to make it the right color, that's what I'll do. So things went pretty good this week. The car was running, I can show you that. Watch this. That sounds like a running car. Yep. That's kind of cool. And so I put the muffler back on it and all that kind of stuff that goes along that way. Now, Friday, so there was a couple of failures. Did a bunch of work with the brakes, got the brakes all working again. There was a bit of a failure with that you can watch and see. And then again, with hooking up the gas pedal, or the gas lines, there was one failure with that. But we got them all fixed up, and I'm happy with it now. So, there you are for this week. It's, well, what do you do on Good Friday? Hey, work on the car. Yeah, there we are, kind of a stormy day out here today. But, so I got a bit of a late start on the install here again. There's the gas tank installed. It looks pretty good. See how it performs later. So that thing there, fixed that piece of metal there and then put the gas tank back into it. Anyway, that's starting to look like a car. So there it is. Now see if I can get these hoses. There's three of them. One, two, three. The ones that I fixed up the other day there. Get them on without breaking my fingers off. I'll move that gas cap out of the way, and that might make it easier. As long as I don't drop anything into there. Anyway, we'll give it a try here. There they are. All three of them are on. Mostly had to do that all by braille once I got in there because my fists are too big to see fast. So there you go. That's all. I think that's it. Got to put the fuel, all the stuff that goes into the tank in. I'll do that now. Yeah, and another task here that looks pretty easy, but by the time you get it done, it takes a while. Anyway, that's the fuel tank all installed and ready to go. Just got to put fuel in it. There it is, covered up. And that's all I have to do in the trunk. I can crawl out of here now. Spending a lot of time in this trunk here the last couple of days. Yeah, so here's the console for the car, right? I don't need this stuff in there right now, but I guess it can stay there. The radio, which is this thing here, fits right in there. And it's pretty damn close. I guess I'm just going to shave it off a little bit at the edges, and it'll fit just right inside that spot there. So I'm happy with that. Now you got to put it all together. Don't know how yet, but I'll work on that. Just see what we can come up with. Yeah, there. So I ground that off a little bit to make it fit in there. It fits in pretty nice now. It's just a very snug fit. And the radio is going to look like a radio once it's in there. Tra-la. A couple more pieces to go on, make it all into a radio. Yeah, there it's in. That what do I have to do? I have to put the knobs on and stuff like that, and get the electricity hooked up to it when I put it in the car. But that's the way it'll look right there, and then there'll be a dial on here too, of some sort. Well, it'll look like that, if I get it right. Anyhow, might look okay, it might work all right. Yeah, there it is. So that's all mounted in there now. These are the heater controls for the seat. We hope. This is the old thing from the balance on the old radio, so I won't, it's just a decoration now. The clock is likely just a decoration now. There's a clock inside here and the balance is on there, so we'll just see how things work out. It does have like it's got a microphone and here, microphone. Then it's got this USB thing that hooks up in here. So you get all your connectivity. Anyhow, I'll put it in the car, I think, pretty soon. Yeah, there we go. Excuse me. Got most of the wiring figured out now. So this one here is 12 volts positive when you turn on the ignition key. This one here is 12 volts positive constant on. Speaker wire rear, speaker wire rear, speaker wires on the rear, another two. This is the old, that switch, that the fader switch that's in the car, that's what's left of that wiring from a previous radio install. Now I just have to figure out wires to go over to those speakers. There's a couple of wires on them, but I'm going to take them apart and take a look at those speakers, likely replace them. Anyhow, it seems to be figuring it out. Yeah, so the rear speakers go inside here. I don't know, can you see that? Yeah, there they are. There's one in there. And then the other one over here. I got most of the wiring figured out for it all now. Let me see. So here's, I marked them up so I could tell. I don't know if you can see that or not. Wait a minute, something's going on with this thing. So I marked them up so I can tell. Wonder what, can you see that? I can't see it. Yeah, so that's a right rear positive. Is that color there. So in the back, I'll find that same color, a black and blue one. And it's right rear positive. Now the negative ones seem to be common. So this one here is for the front right negative and the back right negative. I got it marked off, and that'd be the blue and something up here. Can't really tell, blue and orange or something like that. Anyhow, so I'll go and I'll get the wires on the back side done anyhow. And these were the speakers that were in it. Somebody had stuck these speakers in it. I don't know when, but they're not the right size or anything like that. And I think they're likely had enough car time already, so I'll get a new set of speakers for the front. They didn't even have them, like they weren't even bolted in, they were just sort of resting in there. Yeah, so here's the stereo side of it. The like radio side. Radio side, and I can get that paper around the right way so you can see that. It's got all the color codes here, so I've got a green one in my hand, and it says green is rear left positive, and then green and black is rear left negative, so that would go common with the colors. Then over here, what's purple? Purple says rear right positive and negative. So rear right positive and negative, this purple color. Then on the input side of the radio, like all the power stuff, they've got these all. And I've got them sorted out inside the car now too. If I can read that. Can you read that? Not likely. Very difficult to get this thing to sit. Well, I only have one hand, eh? There, try it again. Take two. there's all the inputs. So yellow is a constant 12 volts. Blue is the power antenna, which I have back there. Red is an ignition ACC, so when you turn the key on, that one right lights up. And black is ground. Blue and white is an amp turn on. I don't have an amp. This one here, radio's already got an amp built into it that's good enough for me. Then in here, this is like the microphone that goes to the front. You hang the microphone somewhere. Little microphone so you can yell at the phone. And then there's the antenna hookup thing, which I have the wire figured out for that. Then this one here, this is like a Bluetooth connector that you hang underneath the dash of the car somewhere there. We'll figure it out. Yeah, then I made a list here, so I'll take this to the back of the car with me and I'll be able to hook those speakers up on the back. I seem to be spending an awful lot of time in the trunk of this car. Yeah, everything's upside down and backwards. Anyhow, there's positive side soldered on, negative side soldered on. Positive side, I presume, is that red dot. These are the old connectors that used to go to the speakers that were, oh, you can't see that, can you? Anyhow, these are, everything's pretty cramped in here. The old connectors that used to go to the speakers that came in the car originally were there. They don't quite fit on these things here. Anyway, I'll do that. Then I have to do the other side in the back here. Then I'm out of the trunk. Yay. There you go. So I've got one of these propane, butane powered little soldering gun iron thing. And it works pretty good. You just get it on there with some soldering. Use two hands for it, of course. Put a bit of soldering paste on and you're done with it. Yeah, there we are. Near as I can tell, that thing's ready to go back into the car. I've got a ground wire figured out in there, and all these other wires I seem to have figured out all right. Got my little list, so that should work. I'll take it in, throw it in, put it in there and start doing the wires up, and then I'll see if I can push it back into where it's supposed to live. Yeah, so there's the, excuse me, that would be yellow is, oh, what yellow? Yellow is 12 volts constant. So that runs the clock inside the radio. Red, that's 12 volts ACC, so the radio turns on when you have the key turned on. Black is a ground, which goes down to a ground down there that I put on. This blue is that goes to the power antenna, and so when the radio turns on, the antenna supposedly goes up. I guess we'll find out about that. This one here will remain blank because it goes to the power amplifier, which doesn't exist. And then I gotta go and take the dogs to the vet, so I'll come back and do the speaker wires after. Yeah, so there's the what do you call that? The dust cover, or the grill for the front speakers that go in the kick panel in the car. So I went out to the Canadian Tire. Hey, got a couple of these things here, which are, they just fit just right. Have a look here. Yep, there you go. They'll fit right into there, and then that'll be the front speakers. The back speakers I had down in the basement from an old set of stereo speakers that I rebuilt a couple of years ago. And I put there's just two mid-range ones in the back there with nothing special. These ones here have all the, like all the tweeters and whistles and woofers and blowers and all that kind of stuff built into them. So, might sound alright by the time I get it done, we'll see. Yeah, and a few other parts showed up, like these emergency brake cables, two of them. So I had one box showed up a couple of weeks ago with emergency brake cable in it, and then this one here showed up yesterday with two in it. So somebody got confused on shipping somewhere, or else I don't think I ordered three, but I guess that gives me room to screw one up if I happen to screw one up, and you know that happens on occasion here. Anyhow, back to the task at hand. Yesterday I left you with a cliffhanger here where I was soldering these wires together, which actually look pretty good. Now I was smart enough to put some shrink wrap onto them before I soldered them all together, so I'll slide that shrink wrap over and then put the heat gun to it, and that should look pretty good for connections. The next ones I'll figure out the wiring on the speaker stuff, then I'll see if I can slide that thing into place where it's supposed to be. I've got also all the other connectors to put in there. Like all this. Those connectors are there, so I got to get them hooked up, hopefully to the right spots. I'll test them all out before I bolt anything down. Anyway, and I also got some, I'll show you. Hang on a second. Yeah, in my buying foray yesterday, I went and picked up some of this stuff here, which is electrical contact cleaner. And I'll use that on the things that I can't get into with the CLR, like the inside of those connectors. And I brought another can of that, because that can of that thing fell down on those pointy things last week, and that was the end of that. And there I've got some synthetic gear oil for the rear end, which I'll change that out before I finish up back there. There, that's all the buying spree done. Yeah, there you go, that shrink wrap stuff, that sure does beat trying to tape them up. Taping it up looks kind of messy, but the shrink wrap works pretty nice. Anyway, I'll carry on, I'll get the speaker stuff done. Yeah, so Tony decided that perhaps he'd come and help. He's very helpful putting all sorts of cat paw prints all over the car. He's mostly into trunks and things that are dark, if you can get around there without falling. Here, I'll give you a hand. There. Well, perhaps not today. Perhaps he's looking for other things today. Looking for a pet, that's what he's looking for. Anyway, there's Tony on the automotive world of Tony. Yeah, so the next problem was how to get everything to line up in the grill properly and then being able to put it inside the car. So the speakers came with these little tabs like this thing here, and that one there is made to put a screw through and be tightened to. So I just cut that off. There it is there, you can see that. Cut it off, put the screw through and hold it there in place in the grill on two of them, and then the other two I'll leave free. Now they go into the car, and I got it done on the other side already, and it worked. Well, there, it's got power anyhow. I'll check and see if I can get a radio station to work now, or something.
Up there when I was a kid with my dad, he liked to go camping around.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, I can attest to I can second that fact that the sky is
works.
Very
it gets
beautiful.
CBC anyhow. And it gets whatever station that is. There's the station I listen to. That works for that. Well, I guess it's a working unit. I'll figure out the rest of it sometime along the way. Make it so it talks to the phone. Yeah, so it always turns into a bigger job than what you thought it might be. But anyway, I'll get it figured out. I had to get the console in, I had to take the radio out. Now I'll have to get the radio back installed in that slot there somehow or other and make it all fit. I think the wiring and everything was pushing all in the wrong places. So anyhow, the console's in the right spot now. So now it's a matter of getting the radio back into it. And then this, let me see if I can get in here. This part here, which is the back of the radio, can be separate from this part here, which is the part that sits in the dash, if I want it to be. And that might make it so that it'll just hang in there somewhere in a convenient location. Anyway, I'll just keep on pecking away at it. There we go. Take two. There, it's all in and the radio is working. Now I just have to get some wires routed properly down here and get that thing to sit flat. But I think we have success for now. Yeah, there it's all installed. So I put the gotta get up here. Sitting in the back seat. Get kind of comfy back there. Anyhow, I put the USB thing here. So it's got a USB and then there's an auxiliary port hooked onto that thing. So you can plug in them, whatever you want to plug in there. And then it's got a microphone that I'll stick in underneath around here somewhere. But I haven't put that piece of panel in there yet. So, we'll see. I think that's enough interior work for today. I've got the brake cable, so I'll put that back on. There now, I just came and checked to make sure the brake cable came through the right way. And in fact, it was underneath this thing here, so I just pulled it out back and put it up on top there so that it's not going to be screwed up later. There it is in here, the cable. So now it's in that receptacle way over there. You can't really see it, but you have to take my word for it. Now it's got to get routed along here, along this point here, and then this point here, and then into the wheel part here. So I'll just do that, and then I'll start putting the brakes together over here. Yeah, there you go. So it's in the wheel end here, and then it comes through, and this is what hooks onto the emergency brake stuff. So I'll get that assembled and start putting it all together here. And then this clamp here keeps it. Yeah, take two. So this clamp here, right here, keeps it right there where my finger's pointing. That keeps it onto the tight on the trailing arm. Anyhow, I'll carry on. Yeah, there's that little piece on there that does the pulling, and it goes through the cable. There's a little thing that hooks it onto the cable, and then it goes into this slot up here on that device. Wait, I'll take it apart here and show you. Just don't want to lose the cable. So that thing, that part there slides on, and then when you pull on the cable, it opens it out and pushes the brake shoes apart that are coming next. Yeah, so there's the shoes on there, and they just hook onto that device, set law the way it is. And then see these holes up here that, oh, you can't see, but there's two holes, the one to the right. That's where the little device goes on. It's a spring-loaded device that holds them on the, whatever you call that, on the brake, the back plate. So I'll put that on. Yeah, there it is there. Now this little spring device here, it calls for, in the manual, it calls for special tool number 885522 or something, but it's actually a number 5 metric Allen key. And then there's these two little lines here. I don't know if you can see those little lines etched in the thing. Can you see those little lines etched in the thing there? And they're the same way as the like the back of the thing has that on there, and it goes in through a hole in the backing plate that'll only fit one way, but then you turn it so that it's like that, and it holds. Don't know if I explained that very well, but that's as good as I can get. So I'll put the other one in, and then the last thing to go on is the spring that holds it from here to here, and that's a tensioning spring for there. There, now that spring is in there. It goes from here to down here. I don't know, you can't really see in there. Wait till I get the light. There you go. How's that? Yeah, so it goes across there, and then it holds tension to that, to this set of brakes, so that they're not wobbling on the whatever you call it, not wobbling on the brake drum, which goes on next, I think. Then I'll put on the brake lines, and then I might sort of bleed the brakes here and just see if anything leaks from all the new brake lines. Yeah, there the brake drum's on. and it spins, makes a little bit of brake noise. I think it'll take a bit to get that broken in underneath there, or just adjusted right and everything. Anyway, it's good for now, so I'll carry on. Yeah, there's the last brake cable on, so now it's time to go ahead and maybe do some bleeding on the brakes. That's with this little knob right here. So first I'll go and I'll tighten all these up, and then I'll just loosen one off, maybe back here, and that'll get most of the air out of the system. The one side anyhow. Yeah, so there's my brake bleeding tool thing. It's a little cup, and the hose goes right down to here, so that when you push on the brake, the air pushes through and everything like that, but there's fluid in there, so if it sucks anything back, it's going to suck back fluid. And that cleans out the brake, cleans all the air out of the brake lines. Yeah, so bleeding brakes 101. So what the first thing to do is make sure that your brake fluid reservoir is full. I've got this little, it's called a foldable funnel. My nephew Sam, he gave it to me for Christmas, and that's the first time I found a real good use for it. It's right here. Then you go into the car, and because that device is on the back wheel there, and that's the only bleeding petcock, is that the name? Like here's a bleed valve. Now every one on the 3 wheels, I've got them tight so they won't allow anything through. And on that wheel there, I've loosened it so you can pump the brakes out. Then in the old days, you used to get in here and pump and pump and pump until they were tight, but with that thing on there, you don't have to do that. You just have to push some fluid through. And once that bucket at the back starts getting kind of full, nothing going there yet, then, oh, there, I can hear it going through. Something went through. I better go check. Maybe I've used up all the fluid I'm letting air in again. We'll check it out. Nothing coming there, so I must have to put more fluid in here. No, it just must be starting to go. I'll give it a few more cranks and I'll show you the results. Yeah, there you go. Failure on many levels. It was leaking here. I think I got that solved. I tightened up that joint in there. Then I tried, like in the old days, this is the old days talking, used to just pump the brakes until the fluid come out the other end, but this has got an ABS system on it and everything's interconnected. I pumped the brakes and power steering fluid come out the top of this thing. Don't know why, but it must be, the booster pump must be hooked to the power steering system somehow or other. So, followed up and looked online, and the way they did it online is they either put a pressure system on here to push fluid through, or else they put a vacuum on the wheel end to pull fluid out. So I went for the, well, I didn't have any choices because the only one around here that I could find was a little vacuum pump at Canadian Tire. So I went there and I got one, and I'll hook it on and I'll show you how it works in a few minutes here. Yeah, and this is the wheel I was working on last night before I gave it all up, and came this morning and here's this fluid all over the floor here that had dripped out of this thing that I hadn't tightened up. So, you know, don't leave anything loose when you go away from it. There, I got it kind of set up now. I've got the hooked up on there with all the different little adapters, and then it goes through that jug down below here. That's where the fluid will go into. Then I've just pumped it up to make sure that it's got, you know, what do you call that? It's holding a vacuum. So this part of the system, this part here is okay. Anyhow, I'll get it hooked up and get it going. Now the next thing is I got to loosen this nut here and see what happens. There, now it seems to be sucking. Now whether it, like I just keep on hitting the vacuum up, it's got a long line to come down through. Don't know if it's sucking air or it's sucking fluid. We'll go up to the front and check and see if any fluid is disappearing out of the reservoir up there. If it is, then I imagine I have success. If not, I might be leaking air here somewhere. Pretty boring. Like milking a cow. Now I'll go around to the front and see if any fluid has come through, or if fluid has gone away. Oh yeah, it looks like the fluid's gone down a bit, which isn't surprising. Okay, well I'll just keep pumping there and I'll show you what happens when it comes through. Well, look at that. There's fluid coming through now. So something must be working. Yeah, nothing simple in this car. Anyway, what I ended up doing, this little thing here, which is a bleeder thing, so when you loosen that and put the vacuum onto it, then a little bit of air leaks in between the threads here. So I wasn't getting fluid to come back through the line. So what I did was I took that out completely, and then I hooked on this piece here, which is sort of just a light rubber thing, and then I was able to jam that in and make a good seal. So the fluid came back to line and then was able to get enough transferred through that I was confident that I had most of the air out of the line. And now I've done that on all four, and it was pretty boring to watch, so I didn't bother filming it. But now I have a nice tight brake pedal. I've tried that out and it's right there. Very good. Now I'll put a bit of pressure on it and then I'll go and check all my joints that I built down there. Should have been enough pressure on that to check out the joints now. Okay, I'll check in with you later. Yeah, here I am. Now, very first thing that happened was that joint in there leaked before there was even any pressure on it. So I just tightened them all up together and it seems to be good now. These joints underneath here, can you see that? Anyway, there they are. There's no leakage there at all. They must be good. They must be happy. Must have done something right. I'll go over and check the other side here. There's some fluid around that thing, the, whatever you call that thing. Don't even know what you call it. Where you let the, where you bleed the brakes. There's fluid around that. But there's no fluid up around, oops, the camera, the light's in the way of the camera. That joint there is clean. And I think this joint here is clean. I can't really see it. I'll get around here to where I can see it. Yeah, there's no oil there. So that's the front end is good, and the connections that I put in were good. Now the back end, we'll check out that. Everything looks good back in that one. No leakage. Now check the wheel, and it looks good. No leakage. Check that one there. No leakage up there. Gee whiz, I must have done something right with those brake lines. You always wonder, you know. Looks like no leakage on that one. That's into the home stretch here. That one there is clean. That one there, I can't see. Yeah, that one there is clean. That one there is clean. And the last one is right at the brake thing here, the caliper, and it's clean. So, well, I'll be, don't you know, I must have done something right with the brakes. So the brakes are good. The next thing I want to do is change the power steering fluid, because I don't know why that power steering fluid was coming out the top there yesterday. It's something to do with the brake system. Then, after I do that, I got a jug of gas over there on the floor, and I'm going to put it in the car, and then I'll pressure up the fuel system and see if that is actually, in fact, a happy system. Yeah, so there's the power steering reservoir. You just, that's on there, and then there's a thing here to hold it together. So you just take that off, and then the instructions say in the manual, or in the shop manual, which is that damn thing there, it's about 1,000,000 pages. The instructions say evacuate the fluid. So that's just exactly what I did. I evacuated the fluid with that vacuum thing. So it's empty in there now. Then they say to pump the brakes 20 times, and that was what happened when all the fluid came out of there yesterday on me. There's an interconnected between the power brakes and this system here. So when you pump the brakes 20 times, it starts pushing the fluid back into from the reservoir in the brake system to the fluid, pushes it back to this reservoir here, and then out over the top, which I found out yesterday. So, but now I'll just put new fluid in there, and then when I run the motor the first time, I imagine it'll refill that fluid down there. It'll refill the reservoir for the brake system, and then I'll just top up this and it should be okay. But first thing I'll do is put more fluid in it. I'll just put it up to this line here somewhere, which is more than adequate, I think. I don't know if there's a fill line on it or not. I'll look around and see. There it is, filled up again. That's pretty near a liter. Now, I don't know, it's green fluid instead of pink. It was pink came out of it. This stuff here is synthetic, it says on the box, or on the label. And it's made for BMWs, so I guess this is a BMW. It says so right there. There, that'll be that for now, and we'll just see what happens. Pretty soon I'm getting ready to be able to start the damn thing up and see what happens. It might be an exciting moment there, but I gotta put the what do you call that, the exhaust system on it before I start it, because it'd be pretty loud. Yeah, there we go. Change the oil in the drain the oil from the differential, and it goes way down there. And then I also put 25 or 20 liters of fuel in the tank, and it seems to be all still in there, so that's a good sign. I haven't lit up the fuel system yet to see if it'll pump. Yeah, so now the trick is to get it from the gallon jug into the rear end of the car, so that I have this bottle hanging around from before, so I'll just put it in at, well, that looks like just about a half a liter at a time. Yeah, so the book says it takes 1.9 liters here. I've got about, well, maybe half a liter into it now. Just tip it into that funnel, which is that foldable funnel thing that I used for the brake fluid. Seems to work pretty good. Yeah, now there's the oil that I drained out of it, about 2 liters, and I'll use that oil. That's pretty good. It wasn't too dirty, and I checked the pan. Like after I was done, I checked the pan, shone a light on it, and I couldn't see any little metal flakes or anything in there, and I cleaned it out before I started that. So that oil there, I'll use it in the front end compartment of my tractor. That tractor, it leaks oil at the front end regularly, so I just keep filling it up. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, it looks like the only thing left to go on underneath here is, well, these speed sensors when they ever get here. One there and one over here. And now the exhaust pipe goes on, and I think I have a rolling machine. We'll just check it out. I'll see if the fuel system works, put the exhaust system on, see if the fuel system works, and see if it starts. Yeah, so these things here are the proper, you can't see anything there. Wait, I'll get the light. That might be more difficult. Oh, there, I got it. Here I come. Oh, okay, here. Where am I? Right here. So these things here are the hangers, like the little donuts that hang the exhaust. And I was having trouble with, I got one side up all right with no trouble. And then the other side, wonder, can you see that? Yeah, you can see that right there. Have to look at it from that side, maybe. Yeah, there it is right there. And then the other side, I couldn't push it up. I didn't have strong enough, so I built myself a little thing here. And that jacked it up and put it into place. Now I'll let it, the pressure off of it, and it should be sitting okay, and then I can set the back end okay. This part here is bolted together, but I haven't, oh there you can see now. This part's bolted together, but I haven't tightened this down yet because it's, give it a little bit of room to move. Anyway, there, can you see that better now? No. Get it from this side you can. So there's that donut thing there on that side, and there's the donut thing on the other side. And here's my contraption. The contraption worked pretty good. It just, a little bit of pressure up and we're all right, and everything seems to fit okay. It goes into where it's supposed to be. Yeah, there. Now the exhaust pipes are back in place. I found a hanger for it out at Canadian Tire of all places. What do you know? And it seems to fit all right in between here. That doesn't rattle on each other side. Fits in here okay. Hangs all right. This one here hangs a little bit lower than it should perhaps, and I could maybe cut this bit off and make it so it hangs proper. I'll see how it performs. If that starts wrecking this, pulling this apart, then I'll have to do something about it. Not yet though. So it's all the way from front to the back. Now, it's about supper time here, so we'll give it a crank tomorrow maybe. Well, there now, I got it started, and it's not running now, as you can tell. And then this thing here, the power steering, it refilled the booster. Like if you look at it here, most cars have that big dish thing that they use a vacuum for boosting the brakes. This one has the power steering pump, gives it extra oomph, I think through this block here that it goes into, and that gives it the booster for the brakes. So fair enough, that's why the fluid was coming up out of the top of that thing the other day when I was undoing it. Then when I started it, I ran it for a while and it stopped itself. And then a whole bunch of gas splashed out by the gas pump, by the fuel pump. So I have right now this type of a connector, which aren't really very good. This type of a connector on the fuel pump outlet, and I'll have to change it to one like this, and that will solve that problem. So I've got to change a couple of them, and then I'll restart it. I'll start it up again, and I'll let you see what's happening. Yeah, there it is, dripping away, and I've got a hose clamp or vice grip on there to clamp off that hose and clamp off the other hose just to stop it from dripping. Now I'll take off that hose up there, that's the offending hose, and put better clamps on it. Yeah, so I guess the problem wasn't the hose clamps, the problem was the hose itself. It blew a hose. Isn't that something? That's something I didn't expect to see, but I guess that's the way it is. I'll have to, excuse me, I'll have to do something about that. Yeah, so fuel hoses. I've got lots of hose, but they're not the real good pressure stuff. So I'll take a drive into my favorite store, Canadian Tire, and get a piece of hose for that. Yeah, this stuff here says fuel injection hose. Now, the other stuff that was on the back there, I've got it replaced now. So I replaced this piece right up in here. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Right up in there, I replaced that piece. Then I also replaced this piece here. I got it clamped off right now because I'm working on another piece. And this one here says fuel hose, and it's all injection type fuel hose. This piece here is on the pressure side, where I joined the old line to the new line, and it doesn't, I can't read, it doesn't say fuel hose on it for injectors, so I'm going to change it for a piece of high pressure hose. Might as well do it now instead of later when it's leaking oil, leaking gas. There now, I replaced this piece of hose here. It's got a high pressure hose on there now. This piece of hose is okay, it's on the return line, it's not a high pressure return. And it's all put back together. I guess I got to take that clamp off of there. So it should be good now. Famous last words, hey? See if it'll run again. Oh, maybe I'll take this clamp off of here. There we go. I just did that to clamp the hose so it wouldn't have any more fuel going in or back or forth, but it didn't help anyhow, it dripped out. So, more kitty litter. Well, it's not kitty litter, it's that garage stuff. I guess I got lots of kitty litter to clean up later. Yeah, here we go. I'll give it another crack. See what happens. Bing, bing, bing. Well, how do you like that? It's running. So now, RPM's around 900 thereabouts. See what happens if I press on the fuel. Yeah. See what the brake feels like. Brake feels normal. Well, I'll be. And then, like I said, that the steering seems to work. Oh, here I am doing this. The steering seems to work. So now, I'll run her up. I'll run it up the hoist and just see if anything's leaking now. Put this down, because last time when I ran it, it ran for quite a long time. Then that hose started to leak and it lost pressure to the injectors, I guess. And it just stopped once it loses pressures to the injectors. So we'll give it a little while running. Oh, excuse me. I've got the garage door open, so it's pushing all the fumes out that way, I hope. Maybe I'll turn this fan on here. Now there's where I was, right there. Seems to be, everything's okay on that for now. Now we'll go down and take a look at the back of the car there. Oops. Oh, you got the light on the wrong way here. A little bit of an exhaust leak right there where I did some cutting on it before, so I'll do a little bit of welding on that later. Now that hose, you can't see that. Hang on. Yeah, there, try that. So that hose right up here where my finger is, and you can't see that. Yeah, right there. That's the one that burst last time, and it wasn't a high pressure hose on there, but it is now. And then at the end of it, the other end here, this hose here, it might have been a high pressure hose, but I changed it to be definitely a high pressure hose, and no leakage there anywhere. This is, just fuel line hose going to the tank, because it just sucks on that one. And this is the return line. Where are you? Whoops. Oh boy. This is the line that goes from the tank into the fuel pump on the low pressure side. So it's just sucking on that, there's no pressure. And the other one is, that's the return line from up above from the motor, and it's not a high pressure line either. So, we're all okay. This vapor line just is a vapor line. I don't know. Don't imagine it does anything special. And everything seems to be running all right. Sure sounds all right. These motors just sound beautiful when they're going. Now, I guess I got some body work to do. I got to do some finishing on this to make it a little bit nicer than that. And then in here also some finishing work. Then I'll put some Bondo on it and smooth it out. Then we'll carry on. Yeah, now for something completely different. I got this stuff from the internet. Everything comes from the internet. Professional DIY leather and vinyl repair kit. This stuff here is supposed to be able to mend little cracks in your vinyl, like that one there. So what I'll do is I'll use this as a test. There's about 3 cracks, or there's a crack up there, another crack across the dash, and there's this crack here, another one up over there. And I'll just do a test on this one here and see if it actually works. And if it does work, then I'll fix the rest of them too. Anyhow, I'll just get started at it. Yeah, so the instructions say to clean it off with a cotton swab and like rubbing alcohol. In this case, I've got acetone. Acetone worked pretty good. And it's just going to fill the crack. It's not going to go over onto the other part of the machine, other part of the car, I don't think. I'll give it a good cleaning here. This will take the shine off of it. The acetone will take the shine off of it, so you got to come later with like mother's wax or something to put the shine back onto it. That's what it says in the instructions anyhow. Then it says to take off any ragged edges. Like, I don't think there's well, I don't really want to start digging at that and make it worse in case it doesn't work. And if it's okay the way it is, then that'll be good. But I'll try and get in there a little bit and get that stuff cleaned out of there. Because I imagine there's 100 years of dirt in there. Anyway, then the next thing is it's got this color chart. So you match up your color. What color is this one? I think this color is kind of like that. And that says you got to use black for the primary color and walnut, I think, for the secondary color, which is that. Anyway, I'll see what I can do about mixing up colors. Yeah, so I mixed up walnut and black in there. Then you got it on your little spatula and you just go and fill the crack in. Whoops. Try not to get it too much outside the crack. Whoop, what am I doing? I'm not even showing you that. So you go and fill your little crack in with the spatula. Then it said to, like, that'll be coat number 1, I guess, for it. You let that sit overnight, or until it dries, which I think would be overnight. Hang on, I gotta get some more stuff. Yeah, there, so you just fill it in as best you can. Then I'm gonna let it dry until it's dry. And then after that I'll check it out and see what else we can do. But it seems to have filled the crack there all right. So for now, we'll call that a success. I'll come back to it tomorrow and we'll let you know what happened. Yeah, there's the emergency brake back in place. The lines came up into here and you just put the nuts on it and then you haul on it and it works. Yeah, let it go again, it doesn't work. So now I think maybe I'll take this center console piece and stick it in there and see what happens. There we go, that's all together. It's pretty simple. That underneath here there's 2 screws and you put them into the receiver part of it, and then this slides in and then you tighten them, so you don't have to, it's very simple. Then these things here, there's no way to make them, to get the wiring confused, because there's one set of wiring will only fit there, one set of wiring will only fit there, and one set of wiring will only fit there. And this, you can tell what side goes to what because of the way the wiring comes out of the thing. That's all for the seat, which is here later. Hopefully it'll run. I haven't got the windows to go up and down yet because underneath the dash there's a piece of paneling that goes in there, and it's got an on-off switch for the windows. I don't know what it is. It's like, I guess it's to keep your kids from opening windows, maybe. Who knows? So my friend Dennis, he's the guy with the boat in the other shop. He says that white wall tire cleaner will take any stain out of anything. I've got a stain right here. I really worked at getting that out of there before. Another one right here that I haven't been able to get out. So we'll give it a try. Yeah, so there's the stuff, and it's just a spray bottle of stuff. Put a bit right on here. And I'll just give it a little bit of a roughing with a piece of emery board, lightly. Well, I'll be shit. That's about 90% gone. I'll give it another dab of the cleaner. And another rub with the emery board. I suppose I better do the whole thing. I gotta get a piece of cloth and wipe that off and see what it comes out like. There's a cloth. Well, stain be gone. Thanks, Dennis, that works. I'll just try this little bit over here now, see what happens. Now I've tried all these, I've tried that with Fantastic and stuff like that before. Never got it off. So, let's give that a little bit of a dab there. And look at that, there, disappeared right away. Didn't even have to do anything, just disappeared. Well, there you go. Take any stain out of anything right there. Another spot here. Yep, another stain gone. Maybe I'll have to go into the car detailing business. Yeah, I don't think so. A little bit tougher here where the sun's been on it. I'll just give it a rub down with the emery board, emery cloth. Another little dab of that stuff. Imagine I could use a toothbrush or something too. Well, there you are, stain be gone. Now, I guess I gotta go through the whole rest of the car, but I won't do that today. Yeah, so here's a pleasant surprise. Window goes down. Window goes up. Yay. Now this little button, there you go, bong, bong, bong. But you see this, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, right in there. That thing there is a lock for the windows. So now I've undone it and window goes nowhere. You press that little button in. Now one time, before I knew about that button existing, I wondered why the windows would never work in the damn thing. But, whoop. Sunroof is a little bit, oh there you go, sunroof even works. How do you like that? Oh, look at that, it even opens up backwards. I didn't know it did that. What do I know, eh? There we go, everything works. Yeah, so I installed that panel in there again. I had to have the old headlamp on for that. Can you see me now? This is me. Yep, there you are. And it worked good, the headlamp. You can see in dark spaces underneath the dash. Yeah, there you go. All this time I've been calling it a 633 CS. And it's an I know. There's, must be an I here somewhere. Oh, there's an I. Wonder where that goes. Goes on like that somewhere like that. 633 CS. Oh yeah, dot the I. CSI. And long time I've been calling it 633, but it's a 635. Well, I'll have to change everything again. And then I found inside here, where did I find that thing? Here it is. This thing here has been sitting in the car for 15 years or more, since 2005 likely. And you know what? Turn it on and it worked. I don't know, that's some good battery in there. Anyway, I'll carry on with, this is a glove box, so I'm going to see if I can get that back into the car. Yeah, whoop, take two here. Yeah, try it again. So I'll put in this, what do you call this thing? Glove compartment. Now it comes with these little bolts or nuts. So the nut, it'll just sit right on there. And then this screw goes into it from somewhere. Not sure if it's up above or down below, but that's how it's got to work. I'll see if I can make it happen. Yeah, so I just put them on and I put a little piece of electric tape to hold them in place, and hopefully that'll make it so I can get the screw started from below it. We'll give it a try. So there's these fabric hangers that stops the glove box from opening down to the floor, one on each side. So I've hooked them on to sort of hold the front of it. Now I'll get around underneath it in the back and see if I can get the screws into it. Yeah, so there's a glove box in. Not complete yet. There's a piece of, what do you call it, a panel that goes over the top of this so that you don't see all that stuff back there.